Let's take a listen at this video by Claire Daly. This is her. Her name is Claire Daly. She is a politician and former MEP in Ireland. She is an Irish. Take a listen to what she is saying. But before I do that, just to remind you, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you happen to be one of them, consider subscribing. Take a listen.
The idea that there's only two people criminally responsible is definitely not the case. This needs to go all the way to the tops of the US administration and to the European Union elites who have enabled and ensured that this genocide has continued. Israel is finished after this. They have nowhere else to go. I firmly believe that this is this generation's Vietnam. Things will never be the same. What if we come to green governments across Europe arming a genocide when Thatcher and Reagan imposed an arms embargo? It shows how much the world has gone in a really dangerous direction. About time. Where were you for the last year and a bit? But it should have to be the start. It's only the start. The idea that there's only two people criminally responsible is definitely not the case. This needs to go all the way to the tops of the US administration and to the European Union elites who have enabled and ensured that this genocide has continued. It couldn't have happened without them. It wouldn't have even started without them, to be honest.
100%. If you take a look at the cases like Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, DD cases in the States, United States, when they go down, people demand people who back them up, who prop them, who were complicit, who supported them also should go down with those criminals. So when a sex trafficker like these people are facing charges, and we are seeing sometimes other people are getting indicted, and at the same time public opinion makes it absolutely clear that so many other people are also involved and they should also go to jail. This should be exactly the same case with our politicians, because Joe Biden, he sent them billions of dollars to the Zionists, directly talking to Netanyahu and his government, Yoav Gallant, and they had made it absolutely open. It is not secret that US and UK, they supported the supply of weapon intelligence on Gaza, on Palestine openly. There is no doubt. They will not deny. If you ask these governments, they will be like, yeah, we are supporting. If you take a look at Matthew Miller, the White House spokesperson, I believe he's some government press secretary position, I don't know, but if you take a look at what he said over and over again, he made it absolutely clear that US will stand by Netanyahu regardless. So guys, by their own account, by their own words, we need to really hold them accountable, because it is time. Otherwise, it is such a shame on all of us that these monsters, they bragged about their genocide and we could not hold them accountable.
And unless it goes there, well then, the ICC has a huge credibility problem, which it had anyway. It's sort of slightly rehabilitated itself, but the fact that the ICC, which is, different than the ICJ, has taken this decision shows you how even they cannot stand over what's gone on there. But it must be deepened and it must be continued more.
When you were an MEP, you were very outspoken about the onslaught of Palestine.
I've been involved in politics for 40 years, but I have never seen anything like what is being unleashed in Gaza, in full public view, while the world watches it unfold. 10 days of relentless airstrikes, 1 in 1,000 people murdered by the Israeli government in a week, open declarations of siege, 24 hours of fuel, electricity and water left, collective punishment on innocent people, all illegal, all war crimes. And when the EU should have been arguing for a ceasefire, for the upholding of international law, for the protection of civilians, Ursula von der Leyen touches down in Tel Aviv to photo op the preparation of a genocide and says Europe stands with Israel now and in the days to come. How dare she? She has no authority in foreign affairs matter. She does not speak for me. She does not speak for Ireland, and she does not speak for the citizens of Europe. We stand for peace. We stand for justice for the people of Palestine and for the upholding of international law. It's long past the time that this woman exited the stage. It's time for her to go and for the International Criminal Court to investigate her.
So the debate is closed.
Do you feel vindicated in any way by the decision now, or?
I think it's a horrible word to use in this context because it's just so tragic and unimaginable what humanity has allowed to continue there. It's not that it's the first genocide, but it is the first that's been openly declared and publicly carried out.
And also openly supported by the Western governments. I also want to actually share with you another video. Recently, this German journalist or reporter, she took an interview of John Mearsheimer, and she expressed quite frankly how she feels being in Germany and expressing her concern about the genocide in Gaza. Let's take a listen to what she is saying here.
I think that I'll probably keep my I won't keep my agnostic view on Israel and Gaza, because I do understand that what's happening is unfair. It's not just, right? Like, you can't just go about killing tens of thousands.
The genocide
people.
is more than unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, genocide is a red line. And, as soon as I see...
I think I have trouble using that word, to be honest. Like, and maybe it's because I'm in Germany and I'm afraid to say something like that,
you would get in trouble in Germany.
I guess I am a little bit afraid.
Germany has basically abandoned free speech on this issue.
Absolutely, and it is quite obvious why. Because Germany knows they are part of this genocide. They are not just complicit. They support it with money and weapon and militarily and with intelligence and every way possible to Netanyahu. They know that they are on the wrong side of the history. Therefore, they're making it absolutely impossible for people to use this kind of word, genocide or concentration camp, as this lady just mentioned. By the way, she's a German reporter. We know where it is heading. And Keir Starmer in the UK, they're also making it very hard for people to raise their voices against this genocide. They call them terrorists, they call them pro-Hamas, and this is what is being peddled by people like Piers Morgan all the time. Oh, you support the Palestinian people? You are pro-Hamas. You are a terrorist. Exactly the same rhetoric from Donald Trump camp. You cannot be pro-humanity unless you are a terrorist. And this is what they believe it. And this is why it is so dangerous. This narrative is so dangerous. So this reporter is a very good example, a prime example of how people feel in Germany about Gaza. They cannot express their opinion, and they call themselves, we are civilized Western world. Really? We believe in free speech, human rights, but we cannot use some certain words because our government, they don't want us to use those. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble.
In fact,
well,
I bet
on a lot of issues, but yeah, especially concerning Israel and all of that stuff, I just get really like, I kind of freeze up, and I'm like, I don't even know what can I compare, because you've used the word concentration camp. You've used the word genocide, and I'm like, I get a little...
And apartheid.
Yeah, and you use these words, and I'm like, I am a little afraid to even use these words because, you can get in trouble comparing things, and...
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I think there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But that's the power of the lobby, right? See, the lobby goes to great lengths to control the discourse.
And everything is anti-Semitic. Like, you can, even using words like globalist can be... interpreted as like anti-Semitic, and I'm like, okay, I mean, it's just very stressful, I guess I would say.
Yeah, there's no question. If you criticize Israel, even if you're Jewish, right, you'll be called either a self-hating Jew or an anti-Semite. I remember when Steve and I wrote the book.
And this is absolutely where it hurts the most. John Mearsheimer, he just nailed it. It is the power of the lobby. It is the power of the elite that stops you and me from using certain words. It is the power of the lobby that banned me on YouTube for a week. It is that power who change narratives according to their own advantage. So who is a terrorist and who is an innocent person? will be defined by them. If you don't believe, if you do not abide by their rules, guess what? You'll be banned, you'll be in jail, and you'll be convicted, and nobody will ever know anything about you. So we are living at a time where things are very, very dangerous. We cannot trust anybody right now, and we cannot have an open mind.